They wanted him taken out of the way because why? They hated him. So this is a synopsis of what Joseph went through, right? This is the great faithful brother Stephen giving a testimony, and I just wanted to show that this is the story. This is how Joseph is looked at. Now, let us go over to Psalm 69. Psalms 69. And when you get it, bro, start reading. We're going to read verse 7 and 8. Psalm 69, verse 7 and 8.
Because for thy sake I have borne reproach, shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children.
Now, for his sake, for the sake of the Most High, this is the Messiah speaking in the Spirit through the mouth of the psalmist. He said, I am become a stranger to my brethren and an alien to my mother's children. Is that what happened to Joseph? Mm-hmm. Did he not become an alien to his mother's children? Mm-hmm. And not just like his own flesh and blood mother, but the mothers who were even like a mother to him, because him and all his brothers didn't necessarily have the same moms. I believe just him and Benjamin had the same mother. He became like he was a nobody to them. But the Messiah is saying this, in the Spirit is saying that for the sake of God, he has borne reproach and shame has covered his face. This was all for the sake of God. Now let us go over to Genesis chapter 15, starting at verse 12. Genesis chapter 15, starting at verse 12. So we see here that in the Spirit, the psalmist is saying, hey, I've been made a reproach for God's sake, and I've become a stranger to my people and like an alien to my mother's children. Go ahead, brother. Starting at verse 14.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
I'm sorry, verse 12.
And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know for of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So here, this is when, Abraham had been told by the Most High that he would be with him and he would take care of him and give the land of Canaan to him and his children. But he went to sleep, and you know how Job says that the Lord talked to men when they sleep. He talked to them upon their bed, because that's the time when you defenseless. You sleep and somebody just come punch you in the face while you sleep. You defenseless. You can't fight against that in your sleep, can you? So look at the state man is in. He's in a state to not fight the Most High. You just have to receive it. And Abraham then fell into a deep sleep, and he had a nightmare basically. He had a great misery fall upon him in the visions of his head, and the Most High told him that your descendants are going to be enslaved. They're going to be put into hard bondage for 400 years in the land where they're strangers. But after that, I'm going to bring them out with great substance, and they're going to inherit this place. So the end result of them coming back and inheriting this place is good, but Abraham didn't see necessarily a good thing as far as what's written. He saw a troublesome thing to his spirit, didn't he? Now, the Most High is basically setting up here, but way before, brothers and sisters, like a half a millennium before it even happened. The Most High is setting up how he is going to bring into play this nation, who is going to start to be the beginning of the inheritance that he was speaking of to Abraham, right? Now, let's continue. Let us go to chapter 37, same book. Let's go to chapter 37, Genesis 37. And when y'all there, we're going to start reading. We're going to read verse 4, and then we're going to skip. Genesis 37:4.
When his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him.
See, when they saw that their father loved him more than the rest, they hated him. And they said, did you see it said they couldn't speak peaceably to him? I mean, you ever had a relationship with somebody where every time y'all see each other, you just ain't really got too much of nothing to say to them or about them, and they ain't got the same thing to say to you either? That's not a good standing to be on, and you are brothers. Isn't he alien-like to his brothers?
Yeah.
He's like a stranger to them. They talking to him and dealing with him like he's somebody they hate. Skip and read verse 8.
And his brethren said unto him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more, for his dreams and for his words.
Now, where did his dreams come from?
From God.
His dreams came from God. And the words he spake concerning them dreams came from God. Because he'd had a dream and interpreted it. And they understood. And they hated him even more. The Messiah was given his words by who? By God. And he came and told them what? Everything he's seen of his father. That's all Joseph telling them what he's seen of his father. And they can't speak peaceably to him. The Messiah went through the exact same trial. And so did Joseph. Now, let us go to Matthew. Let's go to the new book. Let's go to Matthew 13. Go to Matthew. This ain't really difficult, brothers and sisters. It's not really even complicated. It's just, showing a comparison of what it takes to be considered a righteous one. Everything we doing, y'all, is to be righteous, isn't it? To break the mold and to kill the curse that's been plaguing us for generations. Everybody got something in their family that just seem to follow it. And you trying to break it once you have read the word and you compare the life of you and your loved ones to the word of God. You trying to break the cycle of basically no regard for the Most High. And I ain't talking about regard in your own mind. I'm talking about regard to what he says, and you obviously know, oh, man, I did this, I did that, I'm wrong. Let us go we in Matthew 13, start at verse 54. Matthew 13, starting at verse 54.
And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished and said, Whence had this man this wisdom and these mighty works?
Continue.
Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brethren James and Joseph, and Simon and Judas? And his sisters are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? And they were offended in him.
They was what?
Offended in him.
Why was they offended? Because he was able to do all these things. And he spoke and taught, and his wisdom and his works were an offense. See, a lot of people don't want that. When you start to speak right and do what's right, the world will be offended. That's why you have to question, are you speaking and doing right as far as what thus saith the Lord? Because when we see when our master did it, he was hated. In his own country, they were offended? What y'all got to be offended about? What in all his works and his words to help them? But yet, was it perceived as help by them? How would you be offended at somebody helping you? You in a burning building and somebody just climb up on the ladder and say, come on. Are you offended they came up the ladder to the window to get you out the fire? But that's ironic, right?
Yeah.
So we know that man ain't in his right mind when he rejected the Messiah. But read what he said. But
Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor save in his own country and in his own house.
So here we see, he said, man, a prophet is not without honor. Like a man or even a woman of God,